And I want to show you my shirt, but I don't want to expose my little bottom half. But it's a cute shirt. The bottom of it says, "Do something today that scares you." So that's a part of this channel about sharing these stories with everybody because they are very vulnerable and they're pretty deep to get into. So this may not scare me right now, but it may have scared somebody to submit it. So thank you for this process. Thank you for this journey. And I'm proud of you for sharing this story. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Decaf, and welcome back to our channel. And yes, I say our channel because it's not just about me. It's about all of us and what we can continue to do for all of our Black, queer, trans, and non-binary family to make sure they feel what? Welcome, seen, and supported in all that they do. So let's talk, let's listen, and what? Let's love. You know, once again, we're back with some housekeeping rules, and you know what to do. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so that you can get each of these episodes each time they drop across all of our platforms, whether they be Medium, YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, blah, blah, blah. You know, all of them are up there. Make sure to go follow us, subscribe, so that you don't miss out. And make sure to comment, again, y'all thoughts, opinions on each episode. But I'm also looking to talk with somebody or collaborate, interview, have conversations about these stories in the next set. So if you're interested, feel free to shoot us a message, put it in the comments. And with that, on that note, connecting more with y'all, I want to check in with y'all just to kind of see where things are at, how things are going. Are you well? Have you been showing others some love? Have you been showing yourself some love? That was kind of a rhetorical question, but I did want you to answer. But anyway, since I can't hear you or respond directly, I can in the comments. But just wanted to check in, do a little 5-minute exercise, 5 second. Ooh, 5 minutes is way too long. 5-second deep breathing so we can collect ourselves, so we can relax our muscles, our nerves, take some time to ourselves. So on a count of 5, I'm not actually gonna count, just go with it. 5. Up next, we have the song of the show where I try to put y'all on with some real cute music by a Black queer artist, old or new. If you haven't heard it before, then you heard it here first. Today's song of the show is called Melanin by Zay Taylor. I hope I pronounced that right. It got an accent on the E, Z-E. And I don't really know how to pronounce accents, so forgive me if I pronounced it wrong, but I think it's Zay Taylor. Again, the song is called Melanin, brown skin. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, this artist does have a twin sister, fun fact, and a bachelor's degree in behavioral and societal sciences. And before they got to where they're at in their stardom, releasing music, doing what they do, he did audition for American Idol at the age of 14. So that just shows you how determined this artist was to make it, and we see it now.
Melanin's right on skin. Melanin always win. Let me get some taste of that. Brown skin, yeah, they pay for that. But you got it all natural. Wait a second, let me clap.
The song is great, y'all. It's filled with a lot of self-love, a lot of Black empowerment. So definitely go check it out. You can hear more of the song and all the other songs that we talk about here once you subscribe to the Closet Unlocked newsletter that you can do across all platforms and in the description so that you can get exclusive access to this playlist, different stories, different articles, everything that we talk about here. For today's feature story, whoever you are, wherever you are, I send you my love. Parker, do you remember who you had your first time with? Not like that, you nasty. I mean, it could be like that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the first person that you ever told. Or maybe showed, because sometimes the conversation isn't enough. That moment. The moment where the thoughts in your mind won't stop rushing, when the anxiety begins to feel like it's pushing through your chest at its peak, and you just seem to be at a loss of words to speak. Yeah, that moment. The moment where all the parts of your life can seem to both come together and fall apart simultaneously. It's that split second fuck it moment that will precede the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Until one day, you no longer sense the need to say it. Fuck it. The first time that I actually felt that I had the guts to say the words to someone other than myself was to my soon to be boyfriend at the time. If that's what we were calling them back then. I was a baby gay, so I honestly shouldn't have been calling anybody anything. But that's neither here nor there. Now listen closely. After I tell you something significant like that about me, you honestly don't have a choice but to become my best friend. And what better than to make your best friend your boyfriend? Or boyfriend your best friend, whatever, you know what I mean. What other choice did I have when it was supposed to be a secret? Now, statistics show that most individuals' first time telling someone that they are or might be on the LGBTQ spectrum are around the ages of 18 to 21 years old. For me, this started to happen as I was coming out of my preteen phase. Typical, right? I choose the perfect way to switch it up as a teenager and drive everyone, including myself, crazy. Telling my first boyfriend that I was gay wasn't the easiest thing to do since I didn't know how he would react. However, it's a hell of a lot easier to do when the person is flirting back at you subliminally. I didn't have the words for it back then, but my internal gaydar was letting me know something. That first moment became one of many. Although that relationship didn't work out for us, what it did was bring new clarity to my life, showing me things that I couldn't have envisioned alone, serving as a stream towards places and things. It changed my life in ways that I couldn't have imagined. It expanded my viewpoints and curiosities, offering me both peers and a community, while skilling me with the ability to comprehend differences and express true empathy. Yet still, I felt limited in my privilege to just be. It was not until some years later that I felt comfortable enough to tell someone outside of the people that I had been with what my preference was. I recognize now what I didn't back then, that I didn't need to announce who I was attracted to. This should not be a conversation that people are forced into having because of the disparate biases of others. The only variation of things that should be discussed is the history of and how to take proper care of yourself. Nevertheless, the first time that I was assured enough in my being to tell a family member was close towards the end of high school. By that point, I had already had my fair share of fucking closet moments that would have roped me in. I enjoyed gradually exploring this newfound freedom of mine. I had been exposed to a whole new world of mine that was getting into what my queerness meant for me. And even with a few rough patches, I was stuck and in love with myself. Since my cousin and I were pretty close, they were automatically the first person that I would have chosen to share things with if it came down to it. I knew that then no one would have been as understanding of me, and thus they were the first ones that cared to ask, at least in a subtle way. So, what's up with you guys? Asked my cousin. The guy that I had been seeing for a while had just left my room for the night. It also just so happened to be the perfect moment for her to catch me in the action. What do you mean? I reply, thunderstruck by assumed presumption. You know, he comes over a lot. What do you guys be doing in there? I knew at that moment that I had two options. Tell the truth or keep lying. There was nothing in sight that gave me a red flag that either was a bad decision, making the ending of this moment questionable. Yet, I had decided that I was tired of doing the latter. Fuck it. He's my boyfriend, I say in a debatable tone. Finally feeling like a boulder has been lifted from my sternum, I will wait the response. Stomach in knots, it was as if everything was tugging at my nervous system. I waited. Eventually, I was thanked for sharing such an important part of myself. They even threw in a few compliments about the guy's looks, allowing me the space to revel out loud with someone. With this moment, I have sworn secrecy that they kept, giving me control over how I told my story. This alone brought me much pleasure and piloted how I wanted people to treat me. To not make this moment an issue or public statement, but allow me to claim my identity publicly and still acknowledge the difference. I am grateful for what my first moments have brought me, but this is not always a reality for others. Throughout an article for Insider, a group of queer folks from all ages expresses just how different those first moments can be. Having that initial conversation with someone differs for everyone, and I encourage doing it when you feel the most comfortable. Or just say fuck it. For some, these experiences are not always as light. For some, they experience more pain, more anger, more confusion, and at times, more loneliness. Even in these common conditions, we should not allow people to feel this way. Instead, we must continue to expand our curiosities past the societal standards. We must learn how to offer everyone a more competent community, and we must skill others in expressing empathy. You know, the basics. So, yes, I do remember my first time. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one after. I remember them because they meant something to me. Those moments became the early stages of me finally not being at a loss of words. Pieces of my life were coming together in more ways that I could articulate. I had to tell someone. I wanted them to know my story. So I used my first time to let them know that my story matters, that your story matters. That was cute. I thought that one was real cute. But for those that would like to also share a story, you can submit anonymously to our survey across all of our platforms. For those that have submitted a story, thank you for your honesty, for your courage, and for your transparency. Thank you for showing up and for being there to show others that there is strength in these journeys so that they know that they are not alone in theirs. Thank you for being you and for being here, because here, your story matters.